This fly is just like a little turd in the water. Not really, but it's like a Perdigon, but not really. Just check it out.
That's a big brown.
This fly is kind of just a Perdigon mixed with a turd. So I didn't really know what to call it. It's just like a little midge pattern. And yes, there's probably like another pattern just like this, but when you're dealing with really simple flies, it happens. A couple cool things on this, I'm using the new Phasna, or new to us, Phasna 444 hook. It's got the eye that is turned in the opposite orientation, or the other orientation that they normally are, so it's not in line with the hook shank, it's turned. And what that does is it allows you to put a bigger bead on the hook and leaves less of the hook shank, so you can tie maybe a little bit smaller fly with a bigger gap, if that's what you're into. This is a really simple fly. This is tied with uni stretch in soft pink for the color, and the ribbing on it is sulky tinsel. So as you can see, we have this little mini band. This is a little silicone band put out by the guys at Pro Bands, and it keeps your thread just nice and organized. So if you're a nerd like Curtis and you don't have a messy desk, this is definitely something that you want. All right, so a couple words of caution with this. Extra wraps will totally ruin this fly because I'm using this stuff that's really, really thick. As you can see, it kind of wants to separate. So now I hope that I don't put too many wraps as I'm filming. So I'm just going to put a few wraps behind the bead that will secure it in place and get rid of it. And from here I'm going to immediately tie in this tinsel. So the tinsel is going to get tied in now, and I'm just going to make sure that my uni stretch is completely flattened out at this point. And I'm going to build the taper kind of going toward the back of the fly. And that's plenty to wrap back. I mean, it kind of tapers down a little bit. From this point, I'm going to twist my thread clockwise and cord up the thread into a tight cord. And I'm going to take that cord and now wrap that up the hook shank up to right behind the bead. I'm just going to let it sit right here for now. And then I'm going to take the sulky and I'll wrap that in between the ribs that I've just created. And so I'm all the way up to the bead of the hook, and instead of just whip finishing or tying it off like this, I'm going to unwrap the uni stretch. So my tie-in is just going to be one turn of thread or stretch. And from here, I'm going to trim off the sulky. And go right into my whip finish. And I'm just going to do a 2-turn whip finish, enough to tie it off. Oh no, I just dropped tungsten scissors. Dang. Let's see how they fared. Ooh, still good. All right, crisis averted. So I'll trim off that little tag, and now from here I'm just going to coat this with resin, and you'll see that the uni stretch kind of gets more transparent as I put resin on it. So let's put a dollop of resin on, work it around with the needle. Bodkin, I meant. It's a totally different thing. Dab off a little bit with your finger, and as you can see, that really pearly, translucent look on the body shows through now. I'll just zap it with the light, and you can do that in pretty much any color that the uni, what is it called? Uni stretch comes in. There you go, a Turdigon.